The desert had become both our crucible and our home, yet it was merciless. Endless dunes stretched into eternity, each rise of sand a trial, each gust of wind a whip across our faces. Dust seared our eyes and clung to our tongues, turning every breath into a struggle. Each dawn the sun rose without pity, scorching our skin, cracking our lips, and testing the endurance of every man, woman, and child. When the first pale light touched the dune tops, I watched the people gather, faces tight with resolve, eyes sharp with caution, hands gripping staffs and waterskins. They had grown stronger with the years, forged by hunger, thirst, and endless wandering. Yet each step still carried danger. Each step demanded vigilance. Each day pressed us to prove survival, faith, and courage. It was on one of these mornings, the sun barely breaking, when a cry ripped through the camp. "Moses!" Voices wailed, ragged with desperation. "We have nothing to eat, nothing to drink. We will die here." Panic surged like wildfire. Fathers snatched up their children, mothers screamed, elders clutched their staffs with trembling hands. Some dropped to their knees, sobbing openly, unable to imagine another day of torment. I searched the sea of terrified faces, thousands of souls hanging upon beyond, felt the crushing weight of every life. Their fear pierced me, but I knew faith must rise higher than despair. I lifted my staff, closed my eyes, and cried out to God. "Lord, provide for your people. Show them mercy as you have before." The desert hushed. Even the wind seemed to listen. By dawn the next day, the sand glimmered strangely, scattered with tiny white flakes, soft as frost, yet warm beneath the sun. The people stared, astonished. "What is this?" One man whispered, tasting it carefully. "Manna," I answered, awe trembling in my voice. "Bread from heaven. Take only enough for today, for tomorrow it will return." Laughter broke out as children gathered it in their hands. Mothers pressed it to their children's lips. Even the elders wept with gratitude. Hunger, that shadow of despair, had been driven back by the mercy of God. But manna alone did not silence the desert's cruelty. The sun beat down, blistering skin, splitting lips, and thirst gnawed at the people's strength. One day a woman cried out, and soon the whole camp echoed her terror. "There is no water. We are dying." Panic rose like a storm wind clutching jars, women clutching children, people shouting, running, breaking under fear. I raised my voice above the chaos. "Silence. The Lord will provide." I ran to a rock, worn smooth by centuries, and lifted my staff. God's command thundered within me. "Strike the rock." Struck once, then again. A torrent burst forth, water spilling like a river from dead stone. Shouts filled the air, children splashing, mothers filling jars, men drinking deeply, tears mingling with water. The desert's grip had been broken once more, though everyone knew its threats were never far behind. Even as we drank, a distant hum reached us, the pounding of hooves. Dark figures cut across the horizon, Amalekites, swift and merciless, their war cries carried by the wind. Terror swept the camp. Mothers clutched children, men seized weapons, chaos churned like a storm. I climbed the hilltop, staff raised high, and cried aloud, my prayer echoing across the sands. "Lord, fight for your people. Protect us from destruction." The people hesitated, torn between fear and hope, until I lifted my arms higher. A wave of courage surged through them. Men formed ranks, women drew children close, and together they braced for the charge. The battle was brutal. Sand filled our mouths. The Amalekites' cries pierced the air. Weapons clashed in a frenzy of survival. Yet I felt God's strength steadying us, flowing through my hands, through the people. I shouted commands, directing men to hold the flanks, guiding the women and children to safety, urging the young to stand firm. By sundown the Amalekites broke, their courage shattered by a power they could not fathom. We stood bloodied, exhausted, yet victorious, not by strength alone, but by divine hand. Still, the desert demanded more. Every day brought new trials, scavenging for food, rationing water, tending wounds, fortifying the camp. Arguments flared. Why should I carry this? Who drinks first? Anger echoed through the dunes. I walked among them, settling disputes, reminding them that survival required obedience, trust, and unity. Each rebellion tested us. Each lesson shaped us. Night brought no peace. Wolves howled in the distance, shifting sands whispered threats, and the cold bit into weary bones. Round the fires, children shivered, mothers held them close, elders prayed in hushed tones. I moved among them, listening to their fears and hopes, their whispers of Egypt's chains, their memories of miracles past. The wilderness pressed them without rest, teaching endurance through fear, courage through uncertainty. Seasons passed, and the people grew sharper, stronger, disciplined. Manna fell daily, quail descended from the skies, streams burst from hidden stone. Yet each provision carried new perils, ravines waiting to swallow, storms rising without warning, predators lurking in silence, hostile tribes watching from the shadows. A sudden sandstorm once tore through camp, ripping tents, stinging faces, drowning the camp in terror. I shouted above the roar, leading them to safety, reminding them again, courage and faith were their shelter. Each trial tempered them like steel in the forge. I watched as young men mastered vigilance, moving swiftly across dunes, anticipating ambushes, shielding the weak. Women organized the camp with wisdom, distributing water, rationing food, teaching children survival. Elders, once frail, now carried authority, guiding with wisdom, teaching covenant truths. The wilderness had shaped us into a people, hardened, united, resolute. And then at last, the horizon changed. Green shimmered beyond the sands. My heart thundered as hills, alive with trees and rivers, rose before us. The camp halted as one, mouths agape, tears streaming freely. Some fell to their knees, some lifted their arms skyward, voices breaking in awe. The desert's agony faded in the brilliance of what lay ahead. The promised land, no longer a vision, but living, fertile, real. Children laughed. Men pressed forward with caution and wonder. Women wept openly, embracing their families. Every battle, every sleepless night, every step of agony had led here. I sank to my knees, pressing my staff into the sand, eyes lifted to heaven. Lord, I whispered, you have led us, you have sustained us, you have not abandoned us. Guide us now, as you always have, into the land you promised. The people surged forward, no longer merely survivors, but a nation tempered in fire, forged in faith, bound in unity. Young men ran toward the hills, women formed groups to explore water, children danced in joy. Every heartbeat testified to God's faithfulness, every breath to the miracles that had carried us from bondage to freedom. And there beneath the boundless sky, with green hills rising in the distance, the people rested. The desert had tested us, transformed us, and prepared us. Now we stood ready not just to enter the promised land, but to build, to grow, and to honor the God who had carried us every step of the way.